Good morning, welcome back to the channel. As you can probably tell, I'm dressed up in a lot of clothes. It's really freezing out here this morning. We've had obviously quite a bit of freezing fog overnight, which has managed to make all of these trees and branches up in the woods at the back of my house look absolutely gorgeous. A slight dusting, like icing on a cake, all over the branches. Beautiful. So I'm walking the dog on my constitutional. We're in lockdown, but we're allowed to go out and walk. So I've just brought the camera and the little tripod 24-70, and as I'm walking around getting exercise, it's a bit of a pant to get to the top of this hill actually, but we've got here, and Ozzy's enjoying himself. He's having a grand time, and I'm hoping to get 2 or 3 images, keep me busy during the day, put a video together for you guys. Happy New Year, by the way, in case I haven't already mentioned it. I can't remember if I put a video out saying Happy New Year, but it's about the 8th or 9th of January now, so I'm wishing you all a Happy New Year. And oh, this is beautiful, this really is. You just spin you around and let you have a look. Oh, look at all of this beautiful mist. The sun's not going to break through this in a hurry, and all of this woodland is just dusted beautifully in frostiness, and it's stunning. And I think there's certainly some images to be had, so I'm going to press on, hopefully not slip up, because the ground's pretty hard. Well, in fact, it's very hard. I don't know what the temperature is out here. I'd say it's probably about -4 or 5, but I prefer to walk on this than slippery mud any day of the week. So let's see what we can find. For those of you who've watched the most recent couple of videos, you'll see that I've actually come back to exactly the same place. I'm a bit limited on the walks around here because obviously public access through these woods is limited to the paths. And I obviously walk circular routes, so I end up going past the same scenes quite often. But what I've come past again is this scene of the silver birch, but today it's different again. I've got mist, and I've also got icing on the leaves, on the branches, and everything's looking different than it did last time. So I just can't help but take the same shot, but with a different perspective than I did a couple of weeks ago. So let me just spin you around and let you have a look at what it looks like. So okay, I've set the same shot up pretty much that I did last time I was here. I had the 100mm lens on macro, so I was a bit limited in terms of what I could do with the layout, but today I've got 24-70 and I'm down at 24mm, and I've moved much closer to these trees than I did from the last shot that I took, and I've framed the image with these 2 birch or beech trees on the left, and this silver birch, and the silver birch is going off into the distance along the edge of the track here. And let's get that shot. I think that's going to work quite well. It sounds like the hounds of the Baskervilles are coming, so I'll have to cut this piece short. Sorry about that, I was interrupted by a large number of dogs, and I couldn't tell really where Ozzy was, so I had to quickly take that shot and move further into the woods, out of the way of the people with the other dogs. So basically I walked along the track, and a shot that I probably would never ordinarily take presented itself. Let me show you this. In these lighting conditions, I think this is a little bit special. Let me turn you around and let you have a look. Okay, so this doesn't particularly look like much of a shot, but what I'm hoping to do, you see in the foreground we've got this frozen puddle, which hopefully the dog won't jump into and smash. Ozzy, come out of there. And then immediately behind it, and casting almost a reflection on the surface of the ice, is this large oak tree arching over the track, running off into the distance. Ozzy, come here. I don't want you in there breaking the ice. There's a good boy, come here. So I've set the camera up rather precariously here, and For those of you that have been following the channel, you know that I have a problem with the camera where when I put my finger near here, the sensor in the top of the eyepiece here switches the image to the main internal display. I found the setting for that, thank goodness, and now it doesn't, so every time I point to the picture I can actually explain. Now, as you can see here, I've got this nice puddle in the foreground, frozen puddle with some detail on it, some cracks and broken frozen cracks, the likes. And then I've got the tree arching over the track here, and then I've got a second tree in the distance, and then the track leading the eye out of the frame over to the right hand side here in the mid ground. Now I think that's a very pleasing image, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus stack this to quite close in on the ice to get the detail, 20th of a second f11, and then I'm going to set the focus point on the nearer of the two trees, and given the amount of red fringing I'm getting, virtually everything there is in focus anyway, but I'm doing a focus stack. Yes, as I say, I'm doing a focus stack as much as anything just to cover my options. I'm pretty convinced that I've got all the detail I want in that. And what I particularly like about this image is that sort of muted reflection on the surface of the ice. I think it just complements the image, and ordinarily this would just be a messy puddle and it wouldn't be anything in its own right, but I think under these conditions I think it's actually going to work quite well. And it's weird walking through the woods here that this part, obviously these fir trees that are to your left, my right, in this area here, have warmed the air enough. There's hardly any frost on the branches of the trees in here. So that's not quite what I was expecting, but I'm going to walk around a bit further. There's behind you guys now, there's a whole stand of silver birch, which I'm hoping might be retaining quite a bit of the icing on the branches, so I'll go and have a look and see if there's an image to be had there. But I'm pretty pleased with that last one. I think that's really quite a startling image. And now Ozzy's managed to, oh, he's eating the ice. Silly dog, he doesn't know. He likes drinking the water even though it's filthy, but he doesn't know what to make of all this ice. Anyway, I'll move on and let's see where we get on with that. Okay, I found an image. I found it quite difficult here to actually compose. It's one of those sort of scenes that you see all of it with your eye and you think that's really very nice, but taking that whole panoramic or large area doesn't work, I find sometimes, and you have to concentrate on something much smaller. So what's interesting me is if I spin you around, and I'm doing something I don't normally do here, which is I've actually got the lens set here f2.8. The reason for that is this tiny little frond of branch hanging down into the frame with the darker trees in the background. This is in focus, but everything else is out of focus. And I just want to highlight the fact that we've got this this beautiful sort of nice frond of tree hanging down with ice on it and against the darker background. And I've got a 6/40th of a second, so I don't think the small amount of movement that we've got actually is going to cause a problem here. So I'm going to take that shot. I don't know if this is going to work, but you don't know unless you try. So let's have that shot. I might actually switch it round to a portrait in a moment, but just let's get that one. And I'll just do a quick chimp because I think 2.8 might be very tight on this. Oh no. Yeah, I think I need to go to f4, even 2.8s, losing the focus between the front and the back of that set of branches. So let's go to 5.6, and we're still at f4.5, I think we'll do it. Let's try that. Let's have a quick look at that image. Ah, that's better. All of that's nicely in focus now. So yes, just to talk you through the image, what I've got is this bank of trees on the right hand side, all nice and white, which are the small silver birches, the track curling round into the picture, and then all of this darker green fir trees on this side, and then this one tiny little branch hanging down, which I think's let's flip you round. I think that's a nice image. I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm going to wander along. I think there's some more images to be had here, but as I've said, it's quite difficult framing them up. So let's see what else we can get.